So, guys, now that we are 8 days away from the official launch of Arc Raiders, the hype is definitely real. There's so many people that are excited, myself included, of course. We've just got this quick little information from the dev team over at Embark Studios. They wanted to say to all the brave Raiders who joined us for the Arc Raiders Server Slam this past weekend, from the entire team, thank you. Your participation was absolutely vital. We designed the Server Slam to stress test our systems and collect real-world feedback, and you delivered. We are working around the clock to implement fixes and tune the game for launch. These are the key takeaways, guys. So your feedback coupled with our own data has given us crucial insights, and we took immediate action on several fronts. So the first thing is stability. You helped us quickly identify and resolve stability issues across all the platforms during this test. We've locked in even more solutions leading us up to the launch day to ensure a smooth launch experience. So yeah, guys, there was a lot of crashes on the Steam version, and also there was moments where it wasn't running very well. So it's good to see. I'm glad that they've managed to lock this in, and hopefully on launch day we won't have these issues. Now, the flying arcs, this is something that I mentioned in my last video. It turns out their awareness was a bit too high, allowing them to essentially see throughout the trees and the bushes. This made their vision unintentionally overpowered, but we have adjusted what they can see now, so expect a fairer fight at launch. This is huge. This is good, guys, because literally you could be in the foliage, you could be under proper cover where they shouldn't be seeing you, but they could see you. So now at least we know that this was an issue, this was a bug, and it's now been fixed. So fingers crossed, we'll see the changes at launch for that. Now, the dam tower. We watched many of you bravely and perhaps a little too easily access the launch tower on Dam Battlegrounds. It was fun to watch, but a bit too accessible for a key loot location. That has now been fixed to keep the challenge sharp. Yeah, guys, I managed to do this. You literally could just fall down and land. You had to time it and make it sure you could land properly, and then you was able to just basically climb through the window of a locked room, which obviously it needs a key. So I'm glad that they fixed that. Whilst it was fun to obviously do during the server slam, you don't want that kind of thing happening on the official launch. So that's really good. Now, the other part they've said is the visual difference, which I did notice, but I wasn't sure if it was just me just assuming it. But they said that some of you noticed a visual difference between the server slam and the earlier tests on a certain hardware. The default settings did change a bit to favor more performance, and we are looking into tuning further to strike the right balance. So basically, there was a visual downgrade. When you compare it to Tech Test 2 and Server Slam, the game's graphics were definitely looking worse. So at least they're addressing that, and they're obviously going to try to make it look closer to the previous test before. So that's good. Now, beyond these points, your reports have helped us squash a number of bugs and helped identify and address game balance and suggested improvements to the experience. Every piece of data and feedback you provided is helping us to make Arc Raiders a better game. Here is a look at some community stats over the course of the Server Slam test. So I'm going to put this infographic up on the screen for you guys and girls now. But rounds played, over 30 million. The deadliest Arc was the Rocketeer. Okay. Players downed by the Rocketeer, over 2 million. Okay. Over 96,000 recorders were found. 2,669 raiders knocked down whilst playing the recorder. The most crafted weapon was the Pharaoh. 77 queens were eliminated. 108,000 raiders were knocked down by the queen. The total amount of Arc that was destroyed was 58 million, guys. Players knocked down by lightning was 26,676, and there was 816,162 rubber ducks collected during this weekend test. Damn, guys, that is some high numbers for these for these stats. So that's interesting. And they're basically, to end it off, they were saying they're going to be spending these final days putting the finishing touches on the game to prepare for our full launch on October the 30th. See you topside again soon. So it's good to see we're still on track for October the 30th for the official launch. And there was a few other things I wanted to just say as well. They did have a Q&A session over on Twitch during TwitchCon. They did clarify a few things, guys. Basically, they were saying that internally, Arc Raiders, they're talking about Arc Raiders as a 10-year plan game. So that is huge, guys. So basically, this isn't going to be some quick buck. They're looking at this for the long term. So there is a lot of content planned internally, obviously. And they did touch upon saying there is not a roadmap as such, because they don't want to, you know, give us a roadmap now and then that quickly turns into promises. And then if things change, which, as we all know, during development and during launches and post-launch, things get changed in games, guys. So they don't want to make these promises and then essentially have to break them. So for now, there is no roadmap. But what they did say is we're going to be getting new maps. We're going to be getting new weapons, you know, new guns and stuff like that. The usual what you would expect to be getting. So they said not to worry about that. In the short term, that's what we can look forward to. And post-launch, they already have content ready to go, which is another good thing. You know, it's good to know that they've actually worked ahead of time and not tried to rush the content out, you know, as soon as post-launch happens. So they're ready to give us the new content when we obviously start playing the game officially. You know, they give us, you know, I don't know however long they'll give us, a couple of weeks, couple months, and then they'll check the feedback, check the bugs and the balances and stuff like that, and then they'll be able to slowly start rolling out obviously more content to us. Because this is the thing, for live service games, obviously content is king. We need content. You always need like a steady flow of content. And of course, you obviously need bug fixes, you need balance changes, you need meta shifts and stuff like that. But if you don't have a steady flow of content, then obviously this is what kills live service games, right? So it's great to know that Embark Studios, they're ready. They're listening to feedback, like they're taking it all in. They're obviously not going to listen. They're not going to like implement every single thing that people are talking about, because they do have a set vision for this game. But they are telling us that obviously they do want our feedback. So, you know, guys, we can love the game, but we can also criticize it as long as we're giving constructive criticism. They're listening, right? So also, the last thing I want to say before I leave you guys and girls is they did clarify they have no intentions whatsoever right now of making a first-person mode. Of course, in distant future, maybe that will change. But right now, they said they built the game on third person, and to suddenly try and make first person is a big task. It needs new assets, and the whole game would obviously be completely different. So it's going to be remaining as third person for the very long future. But obviously, as you know, maybe at some point that could be a possibility. But just go into this game knowing it's third person, and just ignore if you really can't handle that it's third person, then obviously, unfortunately, this won't be a game for you. But anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Some crazy stats, some good information. And yeah, anyway, I'll see you soon on Topside, guys. Have a beautiful day. Take care. Peace.